All right. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. This is Stance Night. We've had a long hiatus now. Everybody remember what I talked about last time? We had attitude, mentality, that sort of thing. You have to lose before you can win, all that good stuff. Yeah? Great. So tonight is Stance Night. How many of you have played a sport other than this silly Wacky Bats game? Great. Keep your hand up if it was football. Keep your hand up if it was wrestling. Keep your hand up if it was baseball. Keep your hand, what am I missing? Who else played something that I'm not? Basketball, thank you. Who played basketball? Okay, Tim, show me a basketball stance. How do you stand when you're playing basketball? Okay, that's fair enough. But the general basketball stance, right, was to have your knees real bent, right? Defense stance was real wide, and you had inside for your offensive stance, right? That's what I remember from high school basketball like half a decade ago, guys. With football and wrestling, weightlifting, you'd probably have a more bent over stance, right? So when we're talking about stance, every sport has a basic stance. A basic way that you should stand, this is a general rule of athleticism as well, like if you're running, you've got a form. There are forms in this game, and I'm going to ask you to pay attention to things that you've probably never even thought about before. I'm going to ask you to pay attention to your entire body at once while somebody else is swinging a stick at you and while you're swinging a stick at them. This is going to be really hard to retain, but it is most important that you're paying attention to this on the field because you're going to have to reset to your stance every time you fight, right? We're going to start from the bottom and work our way up, because that's the way I feel most comfortable doing this. So, for a basic athletic Belegarth stance, starting at your feet. Everybody get your feet. Look at your feet. So when you're standing for Belegarth, stand on your toes, right? There's a part of your foot called the ball of your foot. Everybody's familiar with this, yes? You want to be standing on that part. The reason why is you can move faster standing on the ball of your foot than you can standing flat-footed, right? So I'm taking big long steps like this compared to a quick slide on the balls of my feet. Next, we're going up to our knees. Your knees should be shoulder width apart, going straight down to your feet, right? When you place your feet in your knees, one of your feet will always be forward. Now, there are two options for forward. One is you can have, with a shield, your sword foot forward. Everyone put your sword foot forward. Great. What your sword foot forward allows you to do is it gives you a little more reach on your shots, right? Because your sword foot is forward and that shoulder goes back when you throw a shot. With your shield foot forward, put your shield foot out. You got a better defensive stance. It's harder for somebody to snipe your leg off because you can just drop your shield down at them. Keep your knees bent slightly. Also super important. This is very important. Keep your knees bent. If you're standing with your knees locked, you're standing on the flats of your feet, and you're gonna get your legs taken from underneath you. Make sense? Okay. Continuing our way up, we've got our hips. How many of you know what I mean when I say center of gravity? Right? Keep your center of gravity low inside your hips. Imagine there's a point in the middle of you and you want to push that point down so that it rests within your hips so that you can move the rest of your body around that. It's your pivot point, right? Keep your center of gravity low, lets you move faster because it's around your legs, and lets you move your upper body faster to lean and to maneuver. Next, we've got our spine going up. Keep your spine straight. You people that I talk to about basketball, wrestling, weightlifting, that stance is bent over, right? I've seen you do it. So you're bending all the way over because that's your schema. A schema is the pattern within your mind that you assign to things when they're new to you. For Belegarth, the schema often is a different sport, so you assign the stance from that sport to Belegarth and imitate it. I'm asking you to throw that schema out, especially for this football thing. I've talked to you about this many times before. When you bend all the way over, I'm just gonna snap your back right out on top of you. You're giving me this huge target. Not to pick on you, I'm not picking on you. So you keep your back straight and your shoulders set level. Even when your arms are up, shoulders level. See my shoulders? See how I'm not doing this? I'm not doing this. Back straight, shoulders level. Now this is probably the most delicate part of this and the part that's going to upset the community most when I talk about it. But I'm going to talk about your arm and hand placement next. So when you've got a shield, hold it in close to your body. Bring it in. Yes, perfect. That shield should probably be no more than 4 to 6 inches away from your chest. The reason for that is simple body mechanics. When something's in close to your chest, you can move it faster. The center of your body, your core, is the strongest part of you. Okay, reel it in, reel it in. We lost some footage there, lost to the ages, technical difficulties. But we're back, we're talking about shields. So, you hold your shield close into your body because the joints are strongest at your shoulder. So when you're moving your shield, you're moving your shoulder, right? Shoulder and elbow. What joints are we moving, Olivia? Shoulder and elbow. Okay. Now, when people get hurt in this game, they get hurt on these small joints because they're the weakest. When people hurt themselves on their own equipment, it's because they're using their small joints, which are the weakest. So when you're holding your shield 4 to 6 inches from your body, it should pretty much rest on your shoulder with a strap, and that way you can rotate it using your shoulder and your elbow, 2 strongest joints in your arm. With a punch shield, it's much the same. Some people will tell you you're supposed to hold a punch shield out from your body. You absolutely can do that, but when you're holding your punch shield out in your body and you've got your punch shield all the way out here and somebody throws a shot at your outside shoulder, what are you going to do? You're going to bring it all the way around outside your body to get at it. But if you're holding your punch shield in close to your body and you're rotating around your body that way, your guard is much faster. You can punch somebody's weapon out with a punch shield, which is a huge advantage, but always reset back to your stance. That's going to be a common theme here in a second when I talk about your sword arm, but always come back to your stance. So with your sword arm, you're looking at this. We've got our hips and our legs and our shoulders all set, right? We've got our shield held in close to our body. And there are a lot of options here. Darian gave me some options. I've gotten some options from Darvax. I've gotten some options from Gil and Jesus. I've gotten options from all kinds of people about how to hold your sword. So we're going to run through a good chunk of them. You still want to have your sword in close to your body. That is almost without exception. If I'm holding my sword all the way out here, what's going to happen? Tim? They already know your range. Exactly. That's one. Another reason is if it's all the way out here, it's that much more of my arm that they can get at. It's that much more of my arm. So, starting from the inside, one of your options is to hold your sword against your shield. Tilt your wrist out slightly, and your thumb is touching your shield, right? You're going to tilt your sword in. And that allows you to make quick snap shots from a decent number of angles and then reset back to that stance. And it also braces your arm, making you stronger on defense. So when somebody snaps a shot at your outside hand, it knocks into your shield and doesn't end with you going, whoa, and exposing your whole back, right? Second option is to hold your sword further out, and he really holds it at an angle to cut off a slot shot right here, right? What you don't want is to have your sword like this so that you're exposing this strip of shoulder and chest. People will get that strip of shoulder, and if you're not lucky, they'll get you in the face too. Yep, Also, always keeping our wrist out. Not too far out, but you're tilting and keeping our elbow in. Elbow should, again, 4 to 6 inches from your body with your elbow. 4 to 6 inches unless you're throwing a shot. Another option is something I don't like to do very often, but it kind of takes a little bit from spear to hold it all the way out here. A really defensive stance to try and get in close and open somebody up. This is probably better if you're not a tall, lanky guy like me, because this has never worked for me in my life, right? But for you shorter people, it allows you to guard your sides when you're going in close, peel their guard back, get in close, and take them out that way. Make sense? We've also got some people fighting Florentine here, and I happen to bring Ribs' bat because I don't have a second bat that's the same length as this one. With Florentine, which probably my weakest area, but I picked up some things from Darvax just watching him. Your feet, still the same. Your waist and knees, still the same. Your shoulders are forward a little bit. Now, for Florentine, it's probably the most out from your body you're gonna get fighting. With a spear or a glaive, you come back into your body. With a sword and board, you want to be into your body. With this, you want to lean slightly. Don't bend your spine, lean at the waist. Lean in because your guard shifts up with a Florentine stance, right? It's harder to guard your legs with Florentine because your guard goes up. You don't have a shield to go down. No, there's no extra room down here. So you stay forward, and a lot of people like the A-frame to start with. So you've got your dominant hand forward, and that's your offense hand. And you've got your guard hand at an angle to cover your arm like this and rotate. So always keep your wrists rotated out. Last part, we've done our shoulders, stay level. The last part, and this is gonna sound goofy, keep your neck straight. Don't lean like this. You're gonna get hit in the head. Watch your head. It's valuable. Don't lean it.